the work and the joy that comes from being in the schoolhouse, I feel at Ethos, and I'm really proud that I get to play a role in creating that and making that true for the scholars and families and teachers that we serve.
Every charter school, as you all know, and every school is just uniquely so special, but learning what makes Ethos special, how we do things, what are our systems here, and then trying to make sure I can also lean into the different experiences that I've had in my time traveling, and even my own just professional journey of what I've been able to learn from failures too, and how those failures can shape, how I show up even in this space.
Yeah, this is a question, if you asked me about 8 years ago, I would have told you something different, but to be honest, because of the stages of the child's life, right? So depending on the age of the child and what is important to that family at that time, it's like realizing what is it that you need for you to actually feel safe for your child to go to this school, and what information do you need to make that choice with confidence. So I will say when I talk to parents now, it's like, well, tell me more about your child actually. Like I want to know more about who they are and what they love and what they need and what you give to them and what you value as a family, because that actually helps narrow down the list of what a school needs to be in alignment to that. So if you're at home and you're like, we value independence and my child just loves doing everything on their own and we don't do much in terms of hand holding, we like encourage them to explore the world, that helps me understand what they need in a school and like directing that conversation there. So when I talk to parents, I always think like, what are some 3 key things that your child needs to like feel seen and feel like comfortable? And they say things like good food and like outdoor plays. I'm like, no, go a little deeper. Like, what are the friendships like? What does it sound like for you to talk to your child? Are you very like structured? Are you free? Are you just kind of like wherever you decide to go, that's where the world will take you? And that will help you understand what you need from a school, because alignment is so critical. There's so many options, so many choices, so little time to explore them all. So you've got to go down to the baseline of like, what do you need as a parent to feel in alignment to this school, whether that's through the structures in place there, the demographic of students being served there, your location from home, right? Like, what are the variables, and then helping that go into a list or a rubric for how to evaluate schools. So we're constantly thinking, how do we make a facility work for a school? How do we make this budget work for a staff now expecting so many dollars because of what APS and Fulton County are doing? So I would say dollars and dollars and dollars and dollars are the constant themes that you would see in the chat by way of different topics, right? Like QBE or new budgets that are coming out from the state level. So it just, some way it comes back down to how much money do we have and how can we spend it, knowing that we're trying to compete with spaces that appear to have more resources or more support. Because so many of us are founding or at the schools we built for years, and so thinking about how do we maintain this and how does it keep growing without us being there, and how do we think through how the school has to also change as the world changes, because it just can't stay what it was when you opened it. So that's another topic that we're talking about, of just like what needs to happen now, how do you build your bench, how do you also ask the right questions so you know roughly what could be happening 5 years down the line to be able to make decisions now to impact that.
One of the things that I really appreciate that Eric and Tony started, and now Peter does, is making sure I'm comfortable before we close a ticket. So, and I that to me is just a really just nice soft touch, like a part of your system. So he will always say, Victoria, we won't close it till you're comfortable. And even if I say, I want 1 more week to test out the system, right? To make sure we're good and my team is good, I need some more feedback. He keeps it open as long as I need to. And I know no organization likes open tickets, right? So we work on trying to reduce the time, but I do appreciate that he hears me on that. Amanda, I know she's come out a few times. Just her support in the troubleshooting has just been amazing. So from the team of working with me, of saying, hey, here's my personal number. Sometimes if you can't get me on the school phone, call, text, definitely willing to just kind of meet us where we are. Always providing solutions as well. Sometimes when I'm like, I don't know, this is what I think, what do y'all think? And then pushing me to think about things differently too, thinking about our growth, that's been helpful as well, but also then, as I say, but this is the budget, like we can only do this, and then being very solutions oriented and very just thinking out of the box of how we can make the money that we have budgeted work for the need that we have as well. So those structures in place have been phenomenal. So far, we've had some hiccups as far as just like technology happening, and I think that's a part of it, but what I really appreciate is the response. Yes, I think it goes back to feedback, right? So feedback is 360. So, right, I'm always like, every time I talk to Peter, like, what are there things that we can do that you see our school doing this first year that we can get tighter on and we can improve as we're going next year? And then, of course, then I'm giving, feedback for the technology that we have in place. As far as next year and growth, what we want to do at CTS is make sure like all of our teacher and scholar devices are purchased through CTS for growth for that, because we know that how we started off the year, the building wasn't wired yet. So we didn't have everything ready to go for our team. So those devices were purchased from another entity. So we want to make sure for support wise happening here for the middle school that our technology is purchased through you all. So when there's troubleshooting that's needed, we got to ship off a device for something, it can happen here at this campus without having to do some transporting back to our elementary school campus.
I will say that where I found it to be very confident 100%, and that's where Victoria joined the team, is that we were getting ready for middle school construction.
Yeah.
And what I did know is that CTS, during construction, I did not have to think. I did not have to worry, wonder. I didn't have to ask these prodding questions. It really felt like everything was taken care of and handled.
Yeah.
And then when I did have to answer questions, or when it came to it was very organized. It was just kind of like, all right, here are all the things going on. Here's all what you should consider, and here's what we can do to make this very clear. And so that's why when it came to construction again, if we had never done construction again, I would have said business as usual, I don't want to change and uproot everyone again. But when it came to construction, what my confidence said was no, CTS did their thing with construction. Let's go back that route and explore that for the middle school. So I will say that that's where my experience came in, because that's how I was introduced to the roles with CTS through our outfitting that campus and then getting ready for growth. So that's where it came through. And then day to day, once I started talking, and it's we've worked out some of the day-to-day things and the infrastructure around tickets and repairs and systems. That's when I brought to Victoria. So I think that they could handle our middle school too, and we can monitor it to see if this is where we need to go and keep going. And then so far from what I've heard, it's been aligned to what we need of here's your problem, here's your solution, and then things being very urgent in terms of resolution.
Again, customer service has been amazing. It's been solid. So there are definitely, everything has not been perfect, right? But what I appreciate is there's also been solutions about what we can do to fix it if something comes up. And then a lot of explaining of the why things have happened, right? And then a lot of Victoria, not just one road of what you can do, but I get different solutions for options of how we can solve it, which I do like, especially when there's a cost related to things of how we can solve it. So being able to look at, okay, A, B, C, and we can do it, and then helping me think through, this is the short-term effect. If you do A, this is the long-term effect, this will happen, and this is what we advise you to do.